Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. A lot of people think they understand gold until they actually try to sell it, because gold feels exciting, it feels secure, it feels like you're holding a real wealth in your hand. But selling gold, that's where the market starts treating different products very differently. And honestly, one of the biggest misconceptions in precious metals is that all gold is valued the same. A lot of stackers will assume, well, gold is gold. But when you walk into a coin shop, that's not really how the market works. Congratulations to Tom Scriven for being the first to comment on my last video. If you like your name in one of these videos, make sure you get to the comment section first. It helps to have the notification bell turned on. Today, I want to explain exactly how coin shops value gold, why purity matters much more in gold than it does with silver, why some products may carry dramatically higher liquidity, why certain gold coins consistently outperform others, and why premiums disappear faster than most people expect. And what actually happens when you walk into a coin shop trying to liquidate your gold stack. Today's going to be a little bit different because I actually work at a coin shop. So instead of talking just theory or internet speculation or even just repeating rumors, I'm going to explain how the gold selling process actually works from the other side of the counter. And honestly, I think understanding how to sell gold is just as important as how to buy it, because eventually every stacker reaches the same question. If I needed to liquidate this tomorrow, what would actually happen? So let's say someone walks into a coin shop carrying some gold. The very first thing we look at is the category. We're going to fit the gold into each specific category that it belongs in. Is it scrap gold, 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, or even 22 karat? Is it world gold, like an old circulated coin, or even how a Krugerrand is considered, maybe even a commemorative coin? Or it's pure bullion, a 4/9 gold product. Maybe it's an American gold eagle or an American gold buffalo. It could even be a highly numismatic, graded, circulated coin. All of these are immediately going into different categories because gold is not just gold. And honestly, this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned when working at a coin shop. Even a 1 ounce gold Krugerrand is not treated the same as a 1 ounce gold buffalo, even though they contain 1 full ounce of gold, and that surprises a lot of people. The reason this matters comes down to one word: liquidity. Recognizable products that are easy to trust move faster, and products that move faster are less risky for a coin shop. Now, with gold, purity plays a much bigger role than it does with silver. A lot of silver products are treated somewhat similarly because almost all bullion silver is pure silver. But with gold, we sometimes have 22 karat bullion products or 24 karat bullion products. So generally, the lower purity gold products get grouped together. 22 karat is a lot less liquid than 24 karat, and overall, American brand is more liquid than other countries. So even in the category of bullion, we have 22 karat world coins, 24 karat world coins, 22 karat American coins, and 24 karat American coins. The lowest liquid type of gold can include things like scrap jewelry, world gold coins and commemoratives, old circulated gold, many of those being 90% gold, and even the 22 karat bullion products. Now, that doesn't mean that these are bad products. In fact, some of these are extremely beautiful and historically important coins. But from the perspective of a coin shop, they often move different through a whole different wholesale market. The shop may need to test them more carefully, the purity can vary, and some products are even less recognizable. Many of these ultimately end up going towards the refining rather than directly resold. And that's a major difference compared to the highly recognizable bullion. Now, above that category, we start getting into pure bullion gold. These are the products that are 4 nines fine, like gold bars, Canadian maple leafs, Britannias, kangaroos, Philharmonics, and other pure government bullion. These products are generally easier to price, easier to verify, and easier to move. But there's another category that stands out entirely on its own: American gold. Honestly, American gold eagles and American gold buffaloes behave very differently than any other gold. Even though the American gold eagle is only 22 carats, the demand for the United States is extremely strong. People trust it, they recognize it instantly, and dealers know they can move it quickly. So, despite being a lower purity than other bullion coins, the American gold eagle often performs better on a resale. And then above that is the American gold buffalo. The same preference for purity exists within this American group. The American gold buffalo is a pure 24 karat gold, government minted, highly recognizable, and highly liquid product. Now, once we've separated all the gold into different categories, the next step becomes verification. And honestly, gold verification is one of the most important parts of the entire process. Counterfeit gold absolutely does exist. The shop I work with primarily uses a Sigma Metalytics, and if we need something more advanced, we can use the FRX analyzer. But even those can be fooled sometimes. So a lot of gold testing still comes down to visual inspections, dimensions, weight, density, magnetism, and experience. Does the coin feel correct? Is it the right diameter or the correct thickness? Does the weight match exactly? Because with gold, tiny differences matter. And honestly, counterfeiters target gold much more aggressively than silver because of the higher value density. A fake silver round might cost somebody $80 to $90, but a fake gold coin could cost somebody several thousands of dollars instantly. So coin shops have to be extremely careful. And once we've categorized the gold and verified the gold, we can move into the next part that shocks most people: the premiums. A lot of people buy gold during periods of fear or excitement in the market, and during those moments, premiums rise dramatically. People often remember paying huge premiums for gold eagles during shortages, and they remember paying strong premiums for buffaloes or fractional gold during premiums of high demand. The other thing is, if they bought it when spot was significantly lower, now that spot price is way higher, the premiums come down overall in the market. But because they paid those higher premiums, they become emotionally attached to them. They start thinking, well, I paid this much over spot, so surely I'll be able to sell it close to that. But that's not exactly how the market works. And honestly, this is the single most important concept in this entire video. There are two completely different markets: retail and wholesale. When you buy gold, you're buying it at retail. And when a coin shop buys gold from you, they buy it at wholesale. And the spread between those two markets is where the business actually survives. Often people think, well, the coin shop is selling this gold eagle for this much, why aren't they paying close to that? But the reality is much more complicated. Coin shops don't price things based on their dream sale. They price things based off of replacement cost, liquidity, inventory risk, and what wholesalers are actually currently willing to pay. Honestly, wholesalers shape this entire market. This is something that a lot of stackers never really think about. Most coin shops are not on unlimited cash reserves trying to speculate on gold prices throughout the next decade. They operate a business. That means that inventory comes in and inventory goes out constantly. And while gold is extremely liquid, it's also extremely expensive. If a single customer were to walk into the coin shop with 20 ounces of gold, that could represent tens of thousands of dollars like that. And if a coin shop were to hold those 20 ounces of gold until they were able to sell it, a drop in gold price overnight or even during close hours can expose the business to thousands of dollars worth of loss. So if a product won't sell quickly, especially if it comes in at a higher quantity, that product will immediately be sold to a wholesaler at whatever rate the wholesaler is willing to buy it at. That's why dealers care so much about liquidity and spread protection. The easier something is to resell, the more aggressively a shop can pay for it. That's why products like American Gold Eagles and Buffaloes consistently outperform these obscure bars or random commemoratives. Because the dealer already knows somebody else is willing to come in and immediately buy it. But that doesn't mean that they have someone in line that's willing to buy 20, 50, or even 100 ounces of gold right off the bat, same day notice. The speed at which something can sell matters much more than people realize. A gold buffalo might sell the same day it enters inventory, but an obscure or maybe even just a regular product with lower demand, like an Armenian Noah's Ark, might sit in the inventory for 6 months. And that time sitting is inventory risk. Imagine if spot price was to be cut in half over the next 6 months. The coin shop would lose all of its profit and then some if it wasn't able to sell its products to a wholesaler. And that's exactly why when spot price jumps down dramatically, premiums start to rise, and vice versa. When the spot price jumps up a lot, the premiums and even the buyback premiums come down. Another thing that surprises people is how differently fractional gold behaves. Fractional gold is incredibly liquid. When 10th-ounce eagles, quarter-ounce eagles, or half-ounce eagles move constantly, but there are certain sizes that move more than others. For some reason, people are not interested in half-ounce coins as much as they are in full-ounce coins. They're even more so interested in quarter-ounce or 1/10 ounce. So the demand for fractional gold has exploded over the last few years, but very specific sizes. As gold price continues to climb, more buyers are preferring smaller entry points. A lot of people may not feel comfortable spending thousands of dollars on a single coin, but they may feel very comfortable buying a 1/10 ounce or a quarter-ounce piece for $500 or maybe even $1,000. And because demand is so strong, these products often carry strong premiums both on the buying and selling side. But again, those premiums can disappear quickly depending on the market conditions. During panic buying, fractional gold premiums explode, but heavy selling periods they compress. This is why emotional attachment to premiums can become very dangerous. The market does not care what someone paid 3 years ago during a shortage. The market only cares what wholesale demand is currently. So let's talk about another biggest difference between gold and silver. Silver often gets treated as weight, but gold gets treated as trust. And that means that with silver, people are often willing to experiment with odd products, weird poured bars, novelty items, and unusual private mints. With gold, people become dramatically more conservative. When thousands of dollars are being concentrated into a tiny coin or bar, buyers want certainty. They want recognizable products, recognizable mints, recognizable government backing, recognizable dimensions. And that's why many generic gold bars or obscure products often struggle compared to sovereign bullion. Even though the gold content may technically be the same, the trust is what carries the premium. Now, on the flip side, what products tend to struggle the most is usually heavily jewelry style commemoratives, obscure world gold coins, damaged pieces, ultra jewelry, unmarked bars, and products that require significant testing. This is where many beginners accidentally create trapped value. They buy something because it feels unique, rare, or special, and they think they're getting it at a discount because the coin shop has to discount it in order to move it, but the uniqueness can actually reduce the liquidity. That's why they're able to buy it on sale in the first place. If nobody recognizes it, fewer people want it. And if fewer people want it, coin shops have to become more conservative when buying it. That doesn't mean that these products are worthless. Far from it. That's still gold. It still has a melt value. But unfortunately, if the gold prices continue the way that they are, that melt value might be the only value there is. Some rare gold coins can carry tremendous numismatic value, but numismatic value is completely different. And this is where things become very, very complicated. Because once you move beyond bullion into numismatic, now condition, rarity, mintage, grading, and collector demand start dominating the price. A common date circulated St. Gaudens coin will trade very close to its bullion pricing, but a rare Carson City coin might trade for multiple times above melt value. And the average person walking into a coin shop often has absolutely no idea if their coin falls on this spectrum. That's why education matters so much. And honestly, if someone is inheriting gold, this becomes even more important, because heirs often assume that everything is either just melt or extremely rare. And usually the truth is it sits somewhere in the middle. Another thing I want to touch on is refining, because eventually a lot of lower purity gold products end up there. Scrap jewelry especially. The shop buying scrap gold isn't usually planning on putting it directly back in the display case. A lot of the times it eventually gets sent to a refiner, and the refiners operate entirely different than a retail coin shop. They're looking strictly at recoverable metal content. No emotional value, not design, not the history, not the premiums, just the pure metal. So when someone brings in broken jewelry, tangled chains, single earrings, dental gold, or even the damaged bullion pieces, they're usually evaluated primarily by purity and recoverable weight. So if you're planning on selling some of your gold holdings, I would suggest calling multiple shops first. Ask them questions like, what are you paying for gold eagles? What are you paying for gold buffaloes or Canadian maples? What are you paying for this size generic bar? If you're able to form your questions into these categories that the shops are going to use to buy your product, then you're going to be able to understand exactly how their offer makes any sense. It is true that not all coin shops operate the same way, but some are extremely fair and transparent and others are not. A respectable coin shop will be able to quote you over the phone clearly, and if one refuses to explain how they categorize their products or discuss spreads at all, or even telling you that you have to come in before telling you a quote, I would just consider not even going to that shop at all. Transparency matters, especially in precious metals. Something I've noticed working in this industry is that gold sellers and silver sellers often behave differently emotionally. Silver sellers often are volume driven and gold sellers are often event driven. A lot of gold sales happen because of major life events: medical bills, debt, inheritance, divorce, emergencies, retirement. Dealing with some market games over a coin shop that's not going to actually respect the product that you have is not something that you have to add to your plate when dealing with any of these things. Gold's a high value density makes it one of the easiest assets to liquidate quickly, and that's one of the main reasons we buy gold in the first place. But that also means understanding that liquidity becomes even more important, because eventually even stackers need to ask themselves this question: if I need to liquidate tomorrow, how easy would that actually be? Because buying gold is easy. Understanding the liquidity, spreads, wholesale markets, purity preferences, refining channels, and dealer risk, that's where the real education begins. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, go into the comment section to ask questions or have conversations with others watching this video, share the video with those you think may enjoy it, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've been following my channel for some time now, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. Consider taking a trip to my website for merchandise, supplies, or even the coffee. But most of all, thank you so much for watching. And just remember, every ounce adds up, so no matter how small, just keep stacking.